A very warm welcome to each and every one of you present today. My name is Vineet and I'll be the instructor for all of you. Now we all have gathered here for a course that is a comprehensive Java course where we'll be learning the core Java part. Okay? So in the very first class, that is the Java review, we'll go through the various concepts, the basic concepts of Java, we'll understand the syntax of Java, how to actually write a Java program. Even before that, we'll understand what is Java first of all. So I'd like to ask, how many of you know what is the previous name, the original name of Java? Can any one of you tell me? If yes, just write down on the chat window. Surya says, I can't hear you. My audio is muted by an organizer. Surya, can you hear me now? Your audio is not muted. Actually, you cannot speak up unless I unmute you, Surya. So can you hear me? If you're yes, just write down on the chat window. Ankit says OAK, Fida says OAK, Vibhanshu says OAK, Ramashin says OAK. Absolutely correct. The name of Java is OAK previously. That's very good. Now, can you tell me why the symbol of Java is a coffee cup? A final one more question about history. By the time, I would like to tell you that Java was started in 1995 by Sun Microsystems. Okay, I'll give you the reason why the symbol of Java is a coffee cup, because while the people who developed Java, when they were developing it, they consumed a lot of coffee. Right? So that is why the symbol of Java is that coffee cup. Okay? So let's move on. But before that, one more question as a poll question, that is, do you know Java? I want to see how many of you among us knows Java. You just have to click on the polling screen right in front of you, yes or no. Ramashin says yes, basically. So all of you click on the polling screen and cast your answers. Only 46% of the people have answered till now. I request everyone to do it. Come on guys, just put your answers, yes or no. Okay, out of the people, those who have answered, 67% says yes, they know Java, and 20% says no, they don't. Okay then, those of you who do not know Java, you'll learn it, and those of you who know Java, you'll explore it more, as Fida says. Fida says, I know but want to explore it more. So she helped me with my sentence. Now we come to what is Java. Java is a compile once run anywhere language. That means Java is a platform independent language. Once you develop a Java application, that application could run on any kind of operating system. Now let's see what this presentation has to say. Java is not just a programming language, but it is a complete platform for object-oriented programming. If we say a complete platform for object-oriented programming, then that means that Java actually revolves around object. Okay, it follows the concept of object-oriented programming, like the encapsulation, inheritance. All these things will be covered. We'll tell you what are these things, but in the later classes, slowly and slowly. But today you should understand Java follows the object-oriented programming. That means everything Java, first you make a class. After that, you create an object of that class so that you can perform different kind of operations in your Java application. Second thing, Java includes two things. The first one is the JRE, that is the Java Standard Class Libraries, which provide application programming interface, and JVM together form the JRE. That means whenever you have to run a Java application, whenever you need to run a Java application, you need JRE installed onto your system. If you do not have a JRE in your system, you won't be able to run your Java applications. Okay, it has all the support libraries that a Java application requires to run. Now we move on to JDK. What if I want to develop a Java application? For that, I need Java Development Kit. It provides all needed support for software development in Java. Okay, so let me know guys if you're clear with Java, JRE and JDK. Please write down on the chat window. And if you guys have any question at any point of time, you can just write down on the chat and I'll take up all your questions. Okay, I'll try to answer them. Ashwath says, yeah, clear. What about the rest of you? If yes, just write on the chat window. It is important that we communicate. We be interactive today. Vivanshu says clear. Nayan says yes. Rama says yes. Okay then. Moving on. We come to Java Virtual Machine. Virtual Machine. Thanks, Rama. Rama says you can call me Rama. Actually, his name is a difficult one for me, so I'm very sorry. I'll call him Rama itself. Now, JVM. It is a part of JRE. Now, JRE is used to run an application. Similarly, JVM helps to run an application, that is a Java application particularly. Now, it runs the byte code. What is a byte code first of all? When you write a Java application, that is in Java source code, okay, that is called the source code, and it is a .java file. After you compile that file, what happens? That file gets converted into a .class file which contains intermediate code, that is called the byte code, okay. .class file contains the byte code. Now all the JVMs can understand byte code. Now JVM has got a property, that is JVM is first of all a machine dependent component. That means for different operating system, JVM will be different. For Mac it is a different one, for Windows it is a different one, for Linux different one, or any other operating system there will be a different JVM for that. But a common characteristic between all the JVM is that every JVM can understand the byte code and convert it into a language that could be understood by that particular machine or that particular operating system, right? Hence, this makes Java platform independent, because whatever byte code comes to that system, there is a JVM to handle that situation. It will convert the byte code into instructions that could be understood by that particular machine. Now it also handles the memory management. We'll come to that part. So all of you, are you clear why Java is platform independent? If yes, let me know on the chat window. Waiting for your answers. Nayan says yes. What about the rest of you? Vibhanshu says clear. Rushil says nice. Rama says clear. Okay then. So let's move on. Anurag says clear. And Himanshu says, I'm hearing a robotic voice. Why so? Himanshu, this is not a robotic voice. I'm a human. Nayan sends me a smiley. Okay. Now robot cannot so react to your comments like this, can they? Vida says, well said. Thank you. Moving on. Byte code. Okay. Java bytecode is a form of instructions that the Java virtual machine executes. I've already told you this. A Java programmer does not need to be aware or understand Java bytecode at all. Okay, it is happening in the background. As a developer, you do not have to worry about that. The overview is good enough for you. The model of computation of Java bytecode is that of a stack-oriented programming language, that is one above the other. It follows the concept of last in, first out. Okay, like the first one goes at the bottom, then the second one on the top, third one, fourth, fifth, like this. They'll form a row, and whenever you have to take out elements, you can only take out the elements from the top. That is why the last one that gets in is the first one to get out. I hope you are clear with the stack-oriented programming language. Okay. Now we come to garbage collection. As I said, JVM is the one which handles the memory management. Further says, what is the importance of stack-oriented language? Okay, we'll come there back. Okay, stack-oriented bytecode itself has been made such that it happens in stack. Okay, it stores every information in stack. The importance is that whenever there is a situation where you need that the last one that enters should be the first one to get out, in those situations you can use stack. You'll find many situations like this where you have to implement a stack so that you can perform your computations. Okay. Now we come to garbage collection. The programmer is not responsible for memory management in Java first of all. The memory area in JVM where objects are created is called heap. Okay, now the operating system provides some part of the memory to the JVM that it says you do some task, this is your memory where you can perform your operations, right? Now that memory location is called heap. The memory is freed during the runtime by a special thread called garbage collector. Garbage collector, the other name for it is the daemon thread. Why? Because it frees the memory, it destroys the objects which are no longer used. Okay? Now, first of all, let's understand what is the need of memory management at all. Can any one of you answer this question? What is the need of memory management? Please write down on the chat window if you know the answer. Any one of you? No one? Okay, I'll give you the answer. Just to free idle memory, not the idle memory, that means memory which are used, but the object that is using that memory is no longer used. Okay? It destroys the unused objects, but not that reason. When I says memory management is for efficient, okay, Ashwat says for efficient storage, okay, 1 point. Rushil says to utilize memory from the device. Now the very important point, Nayan improve performance, absolutely. These are actually the after effects or the medium thing. The actual reason, what was the necessity? Like we have to eat food. Why do we have to eat food? You can say to make muscles, to grow old and something like that. But the actual reason is because we feel hungry. That is why we eat food. Now what about memory management? Because the memory is limited. That was the reason, that was the necessity, hence we need to manage it. If it is a bigger memory, there was no need to manage it at this, there was not such necessity, right? But since the memory is small, we need to manage the memory, and for that we have got the garbage collector, which is called the daemon thread, and it destroys the unused objects. The objects which are no longer used and are present in the memory, it comes and destroys those objects. Now GC looks for, that is the garbage collector looks for objects which are no longer needed by the program and destroys them. Okay, that memory is freed now. All of you, are you clear with memory management, why it is required, and what is the role of garbage collector? Please write down on the chat window if yes. Nayan says yes. What about the rest of you? Fida says yes. Come on guys, be quick. Anurag says yes. Tejinder says yes. Vibhanshu, Rushil, everyone says yes. Vinay says please repeat garbage collector. Ramasheen says yeah. Okay. Garbage collector is a daemon thread that destroys the objects which are no longer used by the program. Okay, it helps the JVM to manage the memory, and the garbage collector is entirely controlled by JVM. From your program, you can request for the garbage collector to run, but the final decision will actually lie on JVM itself. It will be the final authority that will finalize whether the garbage collector has to run or not. Okay. Okay then. So let's move on to the next slide. Let's try to understand this concept with the help of this diagram right here. Now, okay, Swapnil says I didn't get that. Now, Swapnil, there is a heap. Right here, try to understand with this diagram, Swapnil. Now, this is a cloud. Now, this cloud represents the heap. That means this was the memory that was allocated to the JVM by the processor so that it can perform its operations, right? In that memory, there was a reference and there was an object and they were used right now, okay? There was a link present. After that, what happens? This link is destroyed. It is no longer present. Now, neither the reference and neither the object is used any longer. What happens after this? Garbage collector comes and it swaps, it deletes this reference as well as the object, and it frees the memory. Now this memory location can be used for creating any other object. Okay, so this is the task of a garbage collector. Are you clear, Swapnil? Ramasheen says, what if the object is needed after that, very later? Will that be available then? Ramasheen, when destroyed, it won't be available, but if it is required after that, that means in the later part, if it is required again, then that object will have to be created through the program itself once again. Okay. Swapnil says, who's responsible for running GC? As I said, Swapnil, JVM is the one which is responsible for running the garbage collector. As a programmer, you can request for garbage collector from your program, but the final decision will lie on the JVM itself whether the garbage collector has to run or not. Okay. Swapnil says, okay. Moving on, I come to how Java works. We have already done it somehow. We have already run it by now. Let's read out. Now, Java compilers convert your code from human readable to something called byte code in the Java world. Okay, as I said, you write the Java source code. After that, you compile the code using the Java C compiler. After compiling, what happens? It gets converted into a .class file. That .class file contains the byte code within it. After that, the byte code is sent to some other system locally or through network. There is a JVM present. That JVM will convert that byte code into instructions that could be understood by that particular machine. Now, what is JIT? JIT is a compiler. It is a program that runs Java bytecode into instructions that can be sent directly to the processor. Okay. Let's try to understand the same thing using a diagram right here. The entire environment can be divided into two parts. The first part is the compile time environment. The second part is the runtime environment. As I said, the .java file, the source code is converted into a .class file using the Java compiler. After that, the bytecode is moved locally or through network to some other system. As soon as it reaches the other system, there is a class loader. That means to load the .class file and a bytecode verifier to verify the bytecode that is present in the class file with the help of the Java class libraries. Once this process is done, the bytecode reaches the Java virtual machine, that is the JVM. Now, JVM includes two things. First is the Java interpreter and second one is the just-in-time compiler. These are the two things that are present in the Java virtual machine. Now, as soon as the bytecode comes, Java interpreter starts interpreting the bytecode. It starts reading bytecode line by line, one after the other. First line read, it converts it into instructions. Then the second line instructions, third instructions, and so on. After that, what is the role of just-in-time compiler? Now, whenever this interpreter, whenever the system feels that a particular code is getting repeated, there's a redundancy in the code, what this interpreter will do, it will send the redundant code to the just-in-time compiler. This just-in-time compiler will compile the entire code and it will convert it into instructions and save it in the cache memory. Now, whenever this interpreter will again encounter that redundant code, it will just fetch the instructions from the cache memory and it will skip that code. This way the processing gets faster. That is the role of just-in-time compiler, to increase the processing, to reduce the processing time, not increase, to reduce the processing time, to reduce the execution time. Once it is entirely converted, it goes to the operating system and your application runs. Okay. So all of you, are you clear with this diagram right here? Please write down on the chat window, then I'll ask a very simple question to you. Okay, Nayan says yes. Vinay, Ashwat, Swapnil, Fida, Anurag. Okay, everyone says yes. Very good then. So the question is, JIT is a subset of JVM or JDK? You just have to click on the polling screen and cast your answers. What do you think? JIT is a subset of JVM or JDK? Okay, 86% of the people have voted, and out of them, 92% says JVM and 8% says JDK, and the correct answer is JVM itself. Okay, JVM is the component. If you see the diagram here itself, you'll understand that JIT is a subset of JVM. Okay, so all of you, those who have given the wrong answer, just remember it now. Moving on. Now we'll come to basic Java syntax. A lot of theory has been done now and we'll move on to the practical part. We'll make some small programs, and we'll see the syntax how to actually write a Java program. Okay. Now, first of all, data types in Java. What are data types? But first of all, the necessity of a data type. In the real world, we have got many kinds of information available, like we have got numbers, we have got sentences, we have got letters, different values, we have got decimal values. So how to use all kind of information in our Java application? For that, we have got data types in Java. Data types define the nature of a value. It defines whether the particular value is a number, or it is a string, or it is a character, anything. So we have got data types in Java to define the nature of a value. We need different data types to handle the real world information. Like we have got long, integer, short, byte, double, float, character, boolean. All these are different data types using which you can actually define the value, the nature of a value in your Java application, and you can use it. Okay. Now, there are two kinds of, first of all, what are variables? How to store values into a variable? How to store values in your Java application, and for that we have got variables. Variables are a container in which you can store different values. Okay, using the data type, you'll define that what kind of values will be stored in that variable. Like if you write integer x equals to 10, that means you are defining a variable x, and you're mentioning that it will take an integer value within that. No other value can be stored in that variable. Hence you're writing equals to 10, that is an integer value. If you write integer x equals to Vineet as my name, then it will definitely show you an error, because Vineet is a string type, and we have defined that x variable can store integer values in it. Okay. Now there are two kinds of variables, that is primitive type variables and a non-primitive type. Like the Boolean, char, these all were present in the languages like C language. These were the procedural languages. Okay. Anurag says, what is double? Double is for float values. That means for decimal values. Even float is for decimal values as well as double, but the precision after point in double is much bigger. Okay. It will give you values after point. You'll receive values up till 6 digits. Okay, in double. Now, I was on the procedural languages. The procedural languages like C, all those had the primitive data types. Now, in Java also we have got those data types, as well as we have got the non-primitive data types, in which we use a new operator. That means we have got a class defined, and we create the object of that class so that we can define the data type. Okay, you'll understand all this thing when you start using it. Now, one important point, what you can understand, we said that Java is an object-oriented programming. Now, can any one of you tell me, is Java purely object-oriented programming? Please write down on the chat window. Do you think Java is purely object-oriented? Swapnil says yes. What about the rest of you? Do you think Swapnil is correct? Vida says yes. Vivanshu says yes. I'm sorry guys, Java is not purely object-oriented programming. Anurag says no, he's the one. Vinay says no, absolutely correct. Java is not purely object-oriented programming, because primitive data types are present. Purely object-oriented programming means that everything has to be done using objects. But the primitive data types, there are no objects. Okay, that is why it is not purely. One language example could be that is a purely object-oriented programming is C#. Okay, Karthik says in Java 5, Karthik says 99% in Java 5 is object-oriented. Okay then, now we come to the naming convention of variables. We understood what is a data type, we understood what is a variable. Now how to give the names of a variable. So we can start with a letter, we can start with an underscore, or we can start with a $sign. Fida says, but some books write it is purely object-oriented programming. Now, if you go for some standard book, a foreign writer book, you'll definitely find that it is not purely object-oriented programming. Okay, Fida? And if you want to check it out, you can find it on internet. Okay, Fida says Herbert Skill writes. Okay, but as of now, most of the, it is the standard that has been understood. You only think like this. Since primitive data types, they are not objects, okay? You do not create objects of those data types. Then how can you say Java is an completely object-oriented programming? It is a debatable topic. Swapnil says, can primitive types be used outside the class blocks? No, Swapnil, you cannot use a primitive data type outside the class block. Okay, Fida says, he says that everything is wrapped in class, that is why. That's right, but what is this wrapping in the class? What do you think is the wrapping of the class called in object OOPS concept? What is the term? Can you give it to me? Okay, I'll give it to you. The wrapping, Swapnil says encapsulation. Tejinder, Fida, Nayan, everyone says encapsulation. Absolutely correct. Encapsulation is the concept. That is right. It follows this concept. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying since primitive data types are used, whether they are used in the class or outside, they'll remain the primitive data types. You are not creating the objects of those primitive data types. Okay? They are used in the same procedural way as they were used in other languages. Hence, you cannot say that Java is purely object-oriented programming. Okay? Okay, Rameshwaran can exchange Swapnil's question. Okay, Swapnil says, we'll come to that point, I'll show you. Okay, I'll give you the practical example. Fida says, but in C++ main class is not wrapped. This is the difference, I think. Okay. Okay then. I was on the naming convention of variables. Let's continue once again. Now you can start with a letter, you can start with an underscore, or you can start with a $sign. These are the three initials that can be used to name a variable. Now you cannot start with a number. If you start the name of a variable with a number, you cannot, that will absolutely give you an error. Okay. Now we'll see some of the examples of the variables, like you name the data type first of all. After that, you start with an underscore, that is completely fine. Starting with letter is good. $sign will work. I, those are letters, that will also work. G starts with a letter, that's fine, and V is also fine. Okay. Now, on this note, I'd like to ask one more question to all of you. That will be, the name of a variable is known as its identifier, constant, data type, or base. You just have to click on the polling screen once again and cast your answers. Okay, Ashwath asked me a question, that is, can we use friend function just as in C++? No, friend function is not available, Ashwath. Okay. Ashwat says, thank you, sir. You're welcome. So all of you give your answers. Only 86% of the people have voted till now. Okay then. Out of the people who have voted, 75% says identifier, 17 says constant, and 8% says data type. And the correct answer is the identifier. Okay, identifier means with the name of the variable, you identify that variable, you use that variable. Okay. Now we come to statements and block. In Java, statement is a simple command terminated by a semicolon, like name equals to Fred, you put a semicolon, so this is one statement. A block is a compound statement enclosed in curly braces, so curly brace start and corresponding ends right here. Within that you can find one semicolon, this is one statement, second semicolon, this is the second statement. Now blocks may contain other blocks as well, so you can have nested blocks in your application. So let's see a small class example. Okay, let me see, I got Eclipse. Okay, I need to open it up. Now Eclipse is actually a software. So case says, heard that a variable can start with any currency character. Is that true? I'm not aware of any currency character, but you can definitely start with a $sign or an underscore. Okay? Or a letter. These are the three initials that I know. Rest you can try it out and I'm sure you'll find it an error. Okay? I don't think that it can start with any country character. Okay, Sukesh? Okay, now this is actually Eclipse. Now I've got the ADT installed. This is the version that I downloaded from Google. Now if you guys want to install Eclipse, for that I'll guide you. Everyone have a look. Go to edureka.in first of all, okay, and log in with the accounts with which you have registered yourself on the website. I've registered myself with the Facebook account, so I'll log in with that. I'll just try it once again, or I'll use my other password and username. Okay, once you're logged in, go to My Courses, okay? Once you're logged in, go to My Courses, you'll find Comprehensive Java course. You have to click on this course and it will take you the LMS. This is called the LMS, that means the Learning Management System. It has got several chapters in it and it has got, first chapter has also got a video. We'll add the videos as well in the rest of the chapters, okay, don't you worry. You've got presentations here, you've got assignments with solution, you can attend them, as well as you've got quizzes with solution, okay. So you can come here. Now, right now why I took you here, because you've got the Java Environment Installation Guide right over here. You can download this installation guide just by clicking on it. I'll just show you. I clicked on it and the download started. I'll open it up. This is the Java Development Environment Setup Guide. You can download it and this will help you to install your softwares, everything. Okay, so all of you can download it anytime. You just have to go to the website edureka.in, log in with the account, and in the very first chapter, that is Getting Started with Java, you can download it. I hope everyone is clear with it. Now let's assume you have installed your software. So this is how your software will look like. This is Eclipse. Now I go to File and I go to New, I go to Java Project, okay, because I want to create a Java application. After that I'll give it a name. Since this is your first class, I'll say welcome underscore, and it is your Java class, so I write Java. Welcome underscore Java. I click on finish. Now this project has been listed on the left side of the window. This is called the Package Explorer. Now right click on in the source folder, I'll place my classes. For that I'll right click, I'll go to new, I'll go to class, and I click on that. I'll give a name to the class, something like my name or class 1. Let's say class 1. And I would like to have the main method in this. Now first I'll remove this, no need. And even I'll remove the main first of all. Now this is a class. We understood everything in Java is present within the class. It is encapsulated. So you write the class keyword, you mention the name of the class like class 1, and you open the curly brace and you close the corresponding curly brace. So this is one class. Every code that will come into this class should be present within this. It cannot go outside this. Okay, that is outside the scope of the class. This is the outside part, and this is within the scope. Okay, Now I'll place the main method. Now this is the entry point of your application. Whenever your application runs, the processor directly calls the main method so that it can execute everything that is present within it. So remember, whatever code that you want to get executed, whatever object you want in your operations, you have to create that object within the main method itself. You have to use that thing within the main method. Shilpa says repeat once again. Okay. Now, as I said, this is a class. Whenever you define a class, you write the class keyword, you mention the name of the class, and you open up the curly brace, and you close the corresponding one. So this is one class. Every code will come within this. Now, I have this main method. Now, this main method is actually executing the task. Now, this is the entry point of your application. So whatever things that you want to execute in your application should be present, should be called within this main method. Okay? Now, whenever I have to create an object of the class, of this class, what I'll do, you need to write the class name first of all, like class 1, then give the name of the object. It could be anything, so I'll give it OB equals to, I'll write the new operator, that means it is allocating memory for this object. Okay, and again I'll mention the class name, I'll press control space, I get the option class 1, and I put a semicolon. This time it will be with parenthesis. So this is how I've created an object of class 1 that is named as OB. Okay. So all of you are clear till here? Are you clear how to create a class, how to create an object of the class? Please write down on the chat window if yes, then I'll tell you the statements, the blocks, everything. Okay then. I receive all the yes. That's good. Now, you understood that statements are present in Java. So this is one statement because it is getting terminated by a semicolon. Okay, you can have another statements as well. Like if you want to print something, you have to use system.out.println command in Java. Right here. Within that, if you want to print a string, you have to place that string within the quotes, and I'll say welcome to Java class. Okay. Now this is another statement. This is one statement, this is another statement because there are two semicolons that we encounter. Second thing, there are blocks present in Java, so I can find one opening curly brace and there is a corresponding closing curly brace. So this is one block within which I can have multiple statements like this. I can find another block right here. I can find the corresponding one right here. Now this block contains another block within this and it has got multiple statements. So that means Java has got statements, it has got blocks, and blocks can be nested within that. So I hope you are clear with this. If you want to run it, just click here or right click on your project, go to run as and click on Java application. Okay, and I receive welcome to Java class. This is the system, this is the output command. I hope everyone is clear now. Let's get back to the presentation and I come to flow control statements. Java executes one statement after the other in the order they are written. What does that mean? Let's see what it means. We come to Eclipse. Instead of this, I'll print 1. Okay, I'll just simply print the number 1. Number can be presented like this. You do not have to place the codes. So I'll print 5 numbers, 1 to 5 namely, 2, 3, 4, and finally 5. Okay, we have got numbers 1 to 5. So case says object is never used. What is the use of creating it? Right now I'm not using it. I was just showing you how to create an object. We can use it after this. I'll be telling you. Ashwath says slides are moving very slowly. All of you, is my voice as well as the presentation in sync? That is, are they synchronized? Are they going parallelly? Let me know because Ashwath is saying facing some problem. Shilpa, Rama, Nayan says yes. Everyone says yes. So Ashwath, I guess this is the problem with you. Because the voice comes first. If the internet connection is slow, the voice comes first and the video comes later. Fida says presentation comes a little bit later and that is because of the internet connection. Never mind, I'll try to go slow a bit. Okay, I'll slow myself down. Okay, I was saying that I'm printing values 1 till 5. First statement, second statement, third, and then fourth, and then the fifth one. Okay. Now, as we read just now in the presentation, that is Java executes one after the other, the line by line. Now, if you want to check it out, if it is true, then when I run this code, I should receive the values 1 till 5 in the ascending order as they are written. But if it is not true, I can receive any random order. Okay. So I'll just run this code. I'll tell you the shortcut, Control F11. Okay, and I receive the output as 1 to 5 in the console window. So that means Java executes statements one after the other as in the order they are written. Okay, so this is the proof. So I guess you have understood it. I'll just comment this and we'll get back to the presentation now. Let's see what other things that are written on it. Now we come to many Java statements are flow control statements. Now whenever you need to control the flow of execution, you can use the Java flow control statements like alternation, if else, switch. These are the statements that will help you to alternate the flow of execution. As well as there are another flow control statements, that is the loop statements. Whenever you have to repeat the code again and again, in that case you'll be using the loops. Okay, first we'll understand the alternation statements and then we'll come to the loops that are present. Namely, there are 3 loops: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Okay, Rama says, is there a difference between SOP1 and SOP quotes 1? Yes, there is a difference between them. Okay, SOP is for system.out.println, and the difference is that Rama, SOP1 without quotes is actually a number type, an integer type. It will be considered as integer, but SOP quotes 1 will be considered as string. Okay, it will take it as string. Nayan says integer and string. Absolutely correct, you got that right. I hope you have understood it, Rama. So let's come up with the alternation statements: if else, nested if else, and switch case. Okay. First of all, we'll understand the syntax itself. Simple if. Now you write if, within that you place a condition. If the condition turns out to be true, then what happens? It will execute these statements if it is true. If it is false, it will not execute anything in just if. There's no else present, this is a mistake, I'm sorry for that. But when you only place the if block, in that case, if the condition is true, it will only execute this statement. If it is false, it won't execute any part of it. Okay. Let's move on. We come to if else syntax. In if else, when you place the else part, you know that if condition is true, it will execute the if block, but if the condition turns out to be false, it will come to the else block this time and it will execute these statements. As you can see, execute these statements if condition is true, execute these statements if condition is false. The nested if else. These are the nested if else, like if condition 1 true, execute these statements if condition 1 is true. Now if you want to place some more condition, if this is not true, let's check the other condition. Then in that case you have to place else if condition 2. Now it will check this condition, it will execute these statements if the condition is true, and if both the condition turns out to be false, it will execute this one, that is the else block, if both condition 1 and condition 2 is false. Okay, so let's go to Eclipse and let's try to implement it. Okay, then I hope you can see the Eclipse screen now. So I'll write the code. So I'll write if, and I'll use the if else statement. I need to define a variable as well, so I'll write something like integer x equals to 10, anything like this. I'll use this variable as the condition. So whether x is less than 10. So first of all, I'll show you the simple if. Let's make it, okay, leave it. I'll write system.out.println control space. Now within that I'll place something like true. Okay, that means if it is true, then it will come and print true. Now tell me, if I run this code, what will be the result that I would receive on the console window? Please write down on the chat window. What do you think will be the result? Rama says true. Sukesh says true. Rama says nothing this time, and now he's correct. Nayan says blank. Vinay says true. Fida says false. It won't print anything since the condition is false. Control F11, and console window is not coming up without it is because it is not printing anything. Now if I change the condition to something like this and I run this code, so I receive true value. This checks whether the value of x is equivalent to 10 or not, and yes, it was true, so it shows the true value right here. Okay, now this was simple if. Now we come to the if else block. Okay, control V, the else block. I print the statement, I copy the statement, and this time if it is false, it should print false itself right here. I save this file. When I says, is this a session recorded? Yes, when we record this session, and you'll receive the recording as well as the examples that I'm taking in the class on your email IDs. Okay. So if I run this code this time, true, but if I change the condition to false, that is, I check less than, I run this code, I receive a value false now because I have an else block to handle this situation, to handle the false condition. Now we'll place some more condition in it. Let's place else if. So we need this else if. Condition is whether x is less than, first time it is false, and if it is x equals to 10. Okay. System.out.println, it should print something like true dash 2. Sorry, true dash 2. Okay, I'll save the file now. Now run the code. I received true dash 2 because second condition was true. It did not go to the else block. So all of you, are you clear till now? Are you clear with simple if, else if, and the else one? Please write down on the chat window. Nayan says yes. What about the rest of you? Rama says yes. Vibhanshu says clear. Everyone, I request to write down on the chat window. Amrish, Anurag, Fida, Karthik, Sai, Shilpa, everyone says yes. Tejinder, what about you? Sukesh? Fida says yes, and Anurag says yes. Okay then. Now we come back to Eclipse. We come to the switch case statements. So you first of all write the switch keyword. You pass an expression within that. If the expression evaluates, if it is equals to condition 1, it will execute only the block 1, and using the break statement, it will get out of the switch case. It comes to if it is equals to condition 2, it will execute the block 2 and it will get out of the program using the break statement. And if it does not matches any of the conditions, it will directly come to the default one and it will execute the block. Okay. So we'll just comment this part. We do not want it to execute right now. So I'll place a switch case now. Switch case statement. Within that, let's define a variable for this switch case. Integer key equals to 1. Let's make 2, 3 cases on the values like 1, 2, and 3. If it is 1, then it should print system.out.println, and it should print like case 1. I'll just save the file. I'll copy this entire code V, and V. I'll make it, change it to case 2. I'll change this one to case 3. This is case 2 and this is case 3. Okay. Now tell me, if I run this code, what is the result that I would receive in the console window? Please write down on the chat. Okay. Okay, everyone says case 1 and that's absolutely correct. When I run this code, I'll receive case 1 because we are passing the expression 1 as key and it will evaluate to 1 and it will only execute this statement. If I change it to case 2 and I run this code, I receive the value second one, that is case 2. 3, I receive the value for the third one, that is case 3. Now for the rest of the values whose cases are not present, it will give a value. If I make it 10, it will give me a value of default, that is default, right? Now I again come to case 1 or I come to case 2. I make it key 2 and I'll remove these break statements. I don't know why they are used. So let's check it out. Now tell me what will be the result if I run this code. So case says break mandatory for default block. We'll come to that part. No, it is not mandatory for default because it is the end. 9 says 2, 3 and 4 will be executed. Not the 4, the default one, 9. Vibhanshu says all are printed. Just think over it once again, Vibhanshu. Ambrish says case 2, case 3 and default. 9 says 2, 3 and default. So case says case 2, case 3 and default. Swapnil says 2, 3 and default. Okay. Anurag also says the same thing. Tejendra says the same thing. Now let's see if I run this code whether I receive the same result or not. And yes, we receive the same result. That is case 2, case 3 and default. Okay, as you can see. Now, can anyone of you tell me why this statement was not executed? I understood that break statement was not there, so it was unable to get out of the switch case as soon as it is executing a task, right? But why this case 1 is not printed? Any one of you? And guys, if you want to speak up at any point of time, you have got a mic, then what you can do, you can just give me a ping and I'll just unmute you. Nan says because it was not satisfied. The answer is since the expression that was passed, yes Shilpa, exactly correct, because integer key is equals to 2. Karthik and Anurag, you are also correct. Since it is equals to 2, it directly jumps to the second case, it skips the part. But when it comes to case 2, it should only execute the case 2. Hence we write the break statement. Since it was not there, it went to case 3, executed this, then to the default when executed this one. That is why, since if it is case 2, it should only print this. We have got our break statement to get you out of the switch case. Okay, I hope you have understood the functionality of switch case and you have understood the usage of break statements. Please write down on the chat window, and I guess Rama or Swapnil asked me the question whether the break is necessary in the default or not. No, it is not necessary right now, but it will be if you place it, if you change the position of default to somewhere like above case 3. Right now it will become necessary to use a break. Now in case 3 you do not need a break. Okay, I hope you are clear now, every one of you. Only Ambrish says yes sir. What about the rest? Are you not clear with it? It is very important that you interact with me. This way we won't lose interest in the class. Neither you, neither me. Okay? Okay, now we receive all the yeses. That's very good. Let's move on. We come to operators in Java. We used few operators like greater than, less than, and equivalence. Let's see what are the other operators. First of all, what is the need of operators? We have different values, but in real world we also perform different operations on those values. So for that we have got operators in Java. It provides a way to perform different operations on variables. Now in Java, operators has been divided into different categories, namely assignment operator, arithmetic operators, relational operator, logical operator, and unary operators. These are the 5 categories into which they have divided the operators. We'll discuss each one of them one by one. And the very first one would be the assignment operator. Now we come to the assignment operator. It is used to assign a value. Okay, yes Rama, I'll come to that. Just We'll come to logical operators. Don't you worry, we'll go step by step. Now I was on assignment operator. It is used to assign a value to a variable, right? So you write the name of the variable, you write equals to operator, and then you mention the value. So that means you are assigning a value, so equals to sign is the assignment operator. Just give me a minute, guys. Okay, I'm back. Now, I hope you have understood what is an assignment operator. Like if you write x equals to 5, that means you are assigning a value 5 to the variable x. Okay. Now we come to the arithmetic operators. Java provides 8 arithmetic operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulo, increment and decrement, as well as the negation. It is the next one we'll come to. Now this is for subtraction. To subtract two values between the variables like x and y, and the value of x is 5, the value of y is 2, and when you write x minus y, it will give you a value 3. Okay. Addition, it will add the values of two variables. Multiplication, it will multiply the values of two variables. Division, it will divide. Modulo, can you tell me what is the use of this modulo function? Modulo operator, please write down on the chat window. Anurag says for a value of remainder. Shilpa says gives remainder. Tejinder, Rama, Karthik, Vibhanshu, everyone says remainder. Absolutely correct. It gives the remainder between two values or two variables. For example, x equals to 5 and y equals to 2. What will be the value if you modulo them? It will be, all of you write down on the chart, 1. Exactly correct. It will be 1. One more example, x equals to 10 and y equals to 5. And if you modulo them, x modulo y, exactly this time it will give you a value 0 because there is no remainder left. Absolutely correct. So this was the function of modulo operator. Now increment and decrement operator. Increment operator increments the value of a variable by, increment operator increments the value of a variable by 1. Decrement operator decrements the value of a variable by 1. Now, these can be used in two ways. Either they can be placed before the name of the variable, or they can be placed after the name of the variable, right? So, if you place it before, it is called the pre-increment, and if you place it after that, it will be called the post-increment. Let's see the examples. Just comment this. And, sorry, Control 7. Okay, I'll use the if else itself. Okay, so now I'll comment this. It is this. We'll use make one more if else. Rama says what was the shortcut for comment? It is Control 7. Anurag says if we want to increase the value by 2, if you want to increase the value by 2, you will be incrementing it twice. Write 2 times, x plus plus semicolon x plus plus, or you can place brackets as well. You'll understand it. Okay. Tejinder says word is -5 modulo 2. Okay. Let's check it then. Let's say x equals to -5. First of all, we'll do the Tejinder's question. Integer x equals to -5. Leave it, that was a previous example. I'll make one more variable, integer check equals to -5. We are checking it. After that, I'll define one more integer to save the value, integer first of all y equals to 2 semicolon and integer results. So I'll write res equals to x modulo y and I put a semicolon. Okay. If you want to print it, after that I write system.out.println. Either you can place res within the system.out.println or I can directly place this expression. This one I cannot convert or to int. Okay, it is taking some error. So I'll just place it right there. Okay, I'll place res within that. I save it and do it for 5 more modulo minus 2 also. Okay, I'll show that. Now I run this code. It gives me 0. Okay, it is returning a null value. Now because the value was minus 5, so modulo does not work on negatives. Exactly because it is below the value 0, so it will give you 0. Now, second time I make it 5, I make it minus 2. Now this time we are finding the modulo for 5. So I minus 2, I save it, I run the code and receive 0 again. It is not, as Ambrish said, it is not working on negatives, it will always return 0. So all of you, are you clear with this? So I'll move on to the next one if clear. And actually I went here too. Okay, we were on increment and decrement. I'm sorry, I forgot. So I come here again. Now I'll be placing an if and else. If else block. Now in if else what I'll do, I'll define a variable integer inc equals to 5 and I put a semicolon. Okay. Now first of all I'll write plus plus inc equivalent to 5 or let's say 6. It is all equals to 5 itself. System.out.println, let's print, or I'll print the value itself of inc. Okay, and let's add a statement also. If it is true, incremented, that means if it is equals to 6, that means it is incremented, right? So if it is true, if it is incremented, so it will print incremented and the value of inc. Tejendra says, Google says minus 5 modulo 2 is 1. I did the same, I executed the same thing right in front of you, Tejendra. So it did not give the same results. Okay? Tejendra says, sorry now, can you tell me why? And I'll just copy this. If it is false, it will come to the else block and it will print sorry. Okay, that means not incremented. Now, right now if I run the code, what do you think will be the result? Will it print incremented and the value or it will print sorry? Never mind, Tejendra. Karthik says sorry it will. Amrish says incremented. Vibhanshu says incremented. Nayan says incremented. And 6. Absolutely correct. When I run this code, it will receive incremented and the value 6 because we are pre-incrementing the variable. Okay, that means the incrementation will be done first. It will be incremented by value 1 first and then used in this expression. So first the value of inc was 6, then it was checking 6 equivalent to 6, which was true, and hence we received the result incremented and the value inc. Okay, now I'll just change it to post increment. I'll write inc plus plus. Now if I run the code, what will be the result? Amrish says sorry, Nayan says sorry, Vibhanshu says sorry. What about the rest of you guys? Participate in it. Shilpa says sorry. And I run this code, I receive the same result. I receive the result that is sorry and 6. Because, now can you tell me why sorry and 6? Now this is a very good example right here. Tell me why it is sorry and 6. Understood it is sorry. Nan says it was post incremented. Absolutely. As soon as the expression was executed, it is fine. It was false that time, but as soon as it is executed, it will increment the value of the variable to 6, and then it will print sorry and 6. Karthik says incremented after execution. Exactly correct. Nan says when it is checked, value was 5. Absolutely correct. So I hope everyone is right now quite clear with pre-increment and post-increment. Please write down on the chat window if yes. Okay then. Let's get back. Similarly, decrement operator is used. Anurag says why we use plus in system.out.println. Whenever I have to add, that is I have to add a statement as well as a value. Okay, I have to add two values, so I'm concatenating it. Yes, Amrish, concat. I'm adding those two things. Okay, two values whenever I have to print simultaneously in the same print statement, then I'll be using plus sign. Okay. Now we come to relational operators. It is used to compare two values. Binary operators and their operands are numeric expressions like greater than, less than. Whenever you have to find greater than equals to, less than equals to, equivalence for whether they are equal or not, and not equal to, when you have to check whether the value are not equal to or not. Okay, in those cases you will be using the relational operators. We have already used few of them, so all of you let me know if you are clear with this. So I'll move on to the next one. Okay, I am receiving yeses. That's good. I'll just name you Anurag, Rama, Nayan, Karthik, Ambrish, Anurag, Shilpa. Everyone says yes. Tejinder says yes. What about Fida? Are you clear with it? All of you, I want everyone to write on the chat window as if you're chatting on Facebook. Okay? Okay, Vibhanshu says yes, clear. Okay, then moving on, I come to logical operators now. It returns true or false value based on the state of the variables. Now there are 6 logical operators, namely conditional and, conditional or, and, or, not operator, and exclusive or operator. Now conditional and, all of them works on 2 inputs. When you talk about conditional and, conditional or, and exclusive or, they work on 2 conditions. Okay. And if you have got 2 conditions, we can make 4 cases. I'll show you a diagram that I prepared for all of you. Sorry. I'll open Windows, I'll open Pictures, and this one. Okay. Now, just see these 2 blocks right now. Okay, you'll see the screen in a while. Give it a minute. Okay, then I hope you can see it now. Now see the first and the second column. Now as I said, 2 conditions. So this is the first column is for X, the second column is for Y. Now if condition X is true and condition Y is true, either it could be condition X is true, condition Y is false. First could be false, the second could be true, and if both the conditions are false. So you can have 4 conditions. You can have 4 cases with the help of 2 conditions, right? Now let's understand the conditional AND first of all. This is your conditional AND. Now the 4 cases will always remain the same. That is true, true, first one true, second false, first one false, second one true, and both are false. If you place conditional AND between X and Y, that is between the 2 conditions, and if it is conditional AND, true and true will give you a result true. True and false gives you a result false. False and true gives you a result false, and false and false gives you a result false. That means out of the 4 cases, conditional AND will give you a true result only when both the conditions are true. Okay, so this is conditional AND. Are you clear with it? Then I'll move on to the conditional OR. Okay, very good. Now this is conditional OR. The condition cases are same. True and true gives you a true result. True and false gives you a true result. false and true gives you a true result, and false and false gives you a false result. So in case of conditional OR, you'll receive true results in 3 cases out of 4, and in only 1 case you'll receive a false result when both the conditions are false. Okay, so we have understood what is conditional and conditional OR. Now if you see the truth table for XOR, it is something like this. Just see the first 2 blocks. So these are the conditions we have, and XOR operator, the exclusive OR, it is right here. It gives you true results when the conditions are alternate, like first condition is true, second is false, it will give you a true result. First is false, second is true, it will give you a true result. But if both the conditions are same, in that case it gives you a false result. Either it is true, if either both are true or both are false, it gives you a false result. Okay. So all of you are clear with the three, that is conditional AND, conditional OR, and exclusive OR. Let me know guys if yes. Formula for XOR, that is what is written right here. Now you can directly use the XOR operator. I'll show you the presentation. This is the XOR operator, like conditional AND it is this, or this is this, and this is exclusive OR. So that is, but if you have to implement XOR using the conditional AND and conditional OR, in that case you can use this expression, and to justify it I have prepared this diagram. So just see what we are doing. We are finding X conditional OR Y. So this is the result, X conditional OR Y, that is in red. Okay. Now second we find X conditional AND Y right here. This is the result. Not operator. Now we understand not operator. It will complement the values. It will give you the opposite value. True becomes false. False becomes true. False becomes true, and false becomes true. So we get right here, that is not conditional AND Y. Okay. So this is the result, and X conditional OR Y is this. Now between them I have to place a conditional AND. So I'll AND conditional AND these values. So these are the 2 blocks. Now true and false, conditional AND gives me a false. True and true, conditional AND gives me true. True and true gives me true, and false and true gives me false. So the final result is, just skip this. This is an intermediary product. The first 2 cases are right, the 4 cases are right here, and this is the final XOR result. All of you are clear how to implement XOR? Karthik says it's clear. What about the rest of you? Okay, absolutely, that's good. Okay, let's see the examples, and we'll see the examples of bitwise and bitwise AND and bitwise OR. Now bitwise AND and bitwise OR actually works on singular bits. Okay, that is 1 and 1 gives you 1 value in bitwise AND, and 1 0 will give you 0, 0 1 gives you 0, and 0 and 0 gives you 0. Nayan says nice diagram, thank you. So I was on conditional, so I've got if and else. So I use this inc itself, equivalent to 5, conditional AND inc equivalent to 5. Now tell me what will be the result. All of you write down on the chat window. Yes, Ambrish, I'll come to the, what is the difference between conditional AND and bitwise AND. Conditional AND works on conditional 2 conditions, okay. Bitwise AND works on singular bits, between 2 bits. I'll show you the example. Incremented 5 is the result. Absolutely correct, because the result is true. Okay, because both the conditions are true, it gives me true result. If either of the 2 conditions are false, if both are false, it will give you a false result in conditional AND. Okay, I hope you are clear. Now I change it to conditional OR, and I make one condition as not equals to 5. So it is false, 1 is false, second is true. What is the result? Sorry, 5, Anurag says. It is conditional OR, Anurag. Karthik says incremented 5. Nayan says incremented 5. Absolutely, it will be incremented 5. Yes, Fida, that is right. Control F11, I receive the result. incremented 5 because I'm using conditional OR. Either of the two conditions are true, it gives you a true result. Now if I change it to XOR, will it give me a true result or a false result? XOR operator is right here. What do you think it will give? A true or a false result? Ambrish says true. Absolutely, it will give me a true result. No, Shilpa, it won't give me a false result because the conditions are alternate and we are using XOR operator. If the conditions are same, either both the conditions are true or both the conditions are false, in that case it will give you a false result. So I press Ctrl F11, I receive the result incremented 5. So I hope you are clear with it. So now let's implement an example for bitwise operators. Control 7. Shilpa says okay. So alright. Let's define two variables, integer a equals to, let's say, 60. Okay, and if you see the binary representation of 60, you'll find something like 0011 and 1100. This will be the binary representation of 60. I'll write integer b, second variable, equals to 13, let's say, semicolon. If you change it to binary format, it will be something 00001101. Okay, this is 13. Now I'll show you one operator, that is bitwise AND. Let's define another variable, integer c equals to a, bitwise AND b, and I put a semicolon. Okay, now I can directly write the result without actually executing it. Now can you tell me the result? Everyone, you have the question right in front of you. Write down the result. You have got the binary formats. Please write down on the chat, everyone, what do you think will be the result? You can directly figure it out and then I'll run the code. Okay, Ambrish says 401100. Okay. Tejendra says 401100. Karthik says false. No, there's no false this time. Tejendra says 12 is the answer, that is 1100. Absolutely correct. When you bitwise AND it, you'll receive 401100. Okay, that is equivalent to 12. This is actually equivalent to 12. If you want to find out how it is, first 0 it is, I'll just show you the computation. It is like this. It is something, start from the rightmost, that is unit value, unit into 2 to the power 0 first of all. So when it is 2 to the power 0, it is 1. So 0 into 1 first, then add, then we come to the value 0 again. This time it is 2 to the power 1, so it will be multiplied by 2. Okay, now we come to plus again. We come to 1 into 2 to the power 2 this time, so it will be 4. We come here, finally I plus it and I finally come to 1. This time it is 2 to the power 3, so this time it will be multiplied by 8. Okay, now when we add it, it is 8 plus 4, 12, and this is 0. So all of you, are you clear? So I had connectivity issues, so join now, Sumit says. Never mind, Sumit, just join us from here itself. So all of you, are you clear with it? How it is 12? Now if you want to see the result, I'll just print this variable c, system.out.println. I'll print c in that and I save the file. When I run this code, I receive a result 12. Okay, so 1 and 1, what happens, how you are receiving a result? 0 and 1 gives you a result 0. Then we come to 0 and 0, obviously will give you a result 0. 1 and 1 gives you a result 1. 1 and 1 gives you a result 1. 1 and 0 gives you 0. 1 and 0 gives you 0 and rest 0 and 0 will give you 0. This is how we receive this result. So I hope everyone is now clear. Those of you who have asked me the question, what is the difference between conditional and conditional and bitwise AND, are you clear? It is, the difference also lies in the return type. Conditional AND actually gives you a boolean value whether true and false, but bitwise AND gives you an integer. If it is integer type, character type, like that. Okay, it works on bits. Okay, then I hope everyone is clear. Everyone says yes. So let's get back to the presentation. And I come to static versus non-static variables. Fida says yes. Static variables are shared all across the objects of a class. There is one copy present. Yeah, for that as well, Amrish, it will do. It will work. Now, static variables are shared all across the objects of a class. There is only one copy present. Okay, that means that that variable, that object can be shared all across the application, can be used all across the application, and there will be only one copy. Now, can any one of you give me an example where I can use a static variable, a real world example? Please write down on the chat window. Can any one of you give me that? Swapnil says name. I don't think so. Name won't be the perfect place where you'll be using a static variable, or else for an individual, absolutely you can do that. A broad example. Sumit says ID. Same, it is the case with name. Karthi says for bikes gear. Okay. Anurag says the value of pi. Now that is one traditional example where we use static variables. That is old now. Give me something new, Anurag. Everyone says the value of pi. IP address, Anurag says, okay. Okay, let me give you a very good example that will clear all your concepts about static variables. Let's consider a company like Edureka. In that company, there will be many employees working. Each and every employee will have a profile in the company, first of all, and every profile will have one common thing, that will be the name of the company. So what can be done? The name of the company can be stored in a static variable, and that static variable can be used in all the profiles. Even if the name of the variable changes at some point of time, even if the name of the company changes at some point of time, then you just have to make a change at one particular place, and it will be reflected in all the profiles because there is only one copy of the variable present. Okay, so are you clear with it? Are you clear with the example? Karthi says yes. Anurag says yes. Shilpa says yes. Fida says please repeat the example. Okay, I'll do that. I was talking about a company. Now in that company there will be many employees working. Each and every employee will have a profile in the company. Now every profile will share one common thing, that would be the name of the company itself. So what we can do, we can store the name of the company as a static variable, and we can share the static variable in each and every profile. Even though the name of the company changes in future, you just have to make a change at one particular place, and that change will be reflected in each and every profile because there is only one copy present. Are you clear with that? Okay, Sumit says, sir, what does shared among the object mean? Shared among the objects. Okay, that means you could use all over the application. That is what I'm trying to say. It will share if in a class you have got a static variable, and if you create different objects, each and every object will share that common variable as a static variable. Fida says big like. Okay, thank you for liking. Now what is a non-static variable? It is a separate copy for each individual live object. Okay, these are common variables, and static variables cannot be declared within a method. Yes, outside the class, that means you can access that static variable in some other class. But if you are placing that static variable outside the block of the class, it is not possible. Now, if Fida says example main class in Java, there is only one copy when you write static. Absolutely correct. Rajiv says, how about a constant instead of static variables? Amrish says, didn't get you. What? Can you just let me know what do you want me to repeat? Amrish? By the time I'll just go to Eclipse and try to implement the example for you guys. Amrish, let me know what do you want to know once again. Rajiv says, okay. Nayan says, is static and constant the same? Constant will remain constant always if you define it like that. Okay? You define a constant, but a static you can change the value. Are you getting my point? I hope you are. So let's implement a static variable. So I'll just close this. Rajiv says fine. Okay. Now, static variable cannot be present within a method, so I cannot place it within the main method. So I'll write first the static keyword. After that, I'll give a name of the static, something like count equals, I can assign a value. Before that, I need to give the data type of the variable like integer. Count equals to 10. So this is one static variable. Now when I have to use this static variable, I have to use the object of the class, or the name of the class can be used. Okay, it is done only with the static variable. So I'll show you all the different implementations. System.out.println. Either you can use the object of the class in which the static variable is present. So I'll write OB and I'll use count. Okay, so I'm printing the value of count. Other implementation could be you can use the name of the class itself because it is like a property of the class. The static variables will write class1 and dot count. It will also work. Or what you can do, you can use the count variable itself only in this class because count variable is defined in this class itself. Hence you can directly use the count variable. When I run this code, I receive 3 tens because I printed count variable itself using 3 different ways, as you can see on the console. Everyone, are you clear how to use a static variable? Amrish says yes sir. Nayan says we can change the value of a static just like you told if the name of the company changes. Yes, we can change it. If you want to see, I'll make one more class. Okay, right click, new class, let's say class 2. I'll click on finish. So I've got this class 2. I'll show you. I'll be using the same static variable and I'll change the value. Vida says very clear. Okay, it will be much clearer now when I make this different class. I cannot directly access it. For that I need a function to create. So guys, don't get confused with function. Yes, Nayan, static and constants are different. I must say I still don't understand the difference between static and constant variables. You'll get it right here. Constant will remain constant. Okay. Static variables, there is only one copy, and constant variables will be confined to that class itself. There is no one single copy. Are you clear, Raman? Okay, are you clear with it, Rama? One copy is the particular thing. The importance of a static variable is that this one copy that is shared all across the application. So that is what I'm going to implement right now. So void, I will implement a void function. Okay. Now using this function, I'll use the static variable using the class name. It's, oh sorry, not void. I'll write fun. Okay. So what I'll do. So can we say that static is just like global declaration? Yes, Vida, we can declare. We have to declare it globally because it should not be confined within the scope of the methods. It has to be placed globally within the class. Okay. Now I'll write Vineet, sorry, not Vineet, the class 1. So I'll write class 1 dot, I can find my count variable right here, equals to, I'll give a value 90 to it. Okay. Now I'll come back. Now I'll use this, I want to use this function. What I have to do? Can any one of you tell me if I have to use this function in class 1, then what is the procedure that I have to follow? Can you tell me? How to use the function that is present in class to create the object of class 2? Fida says absolutely correct. So I'll write class 2 ob1, the object equals to new operator to allocate the memory class with parentheses, and I put a semicolon. So I have the object of class 2. Now using this object, I'll call that function ob1, which might change the value of the static variable. So ob1 dot fun Okay, I made this private by mistake. You cannot make it private, okay? Now I'll find my function. So I'm calling that function right here, okay? After that, now tell me. Okay, I've called that function that might change the value of count to 90. But I'm printing the value of count in this class itself where the value of count was 10. Now can you tell me if I run this code, what will be the result that I would receive? I'll simply print the value count, variable count. Nayan says 10. He thinks that it will print 10. What about the others? Sumit says 90. Guys, let me know. What do you think? Tejendra says 10. Karthik says 90. Rama says 10. Amrish says 90. Anurag says 10. Fida says switch to class 2 code. Rajiv says 10. I'll make it like this. Okay. Now can you see both simultaneously? This is class 1 and this is class 2 on the left. Now tell me, Fida, what do you think? Vivanshu says 90. Anurag says 90 now. Okay then. Fida says 90. Let's run this. Okay, it is coming on the bottom now. You can see 90. What happened? I'm printing, the value of count is 10. I call the function, but the value is changing in second class. What happens then? It should print 10 because there is only one copy present. Are you clear, Rama, now? Okay, absolutely. Let me know, everyone, if you are clear with it so that I can get back to the presentation. Okay, very good then. Rama says, but can we change the value of static variable inside a local? You cannot place it in a local scope. That is the point. Okay, if you're talking about class 1 itself, yes, you can do that. It will change. Okay? Absolutely, it will do. Just try to implement it. You'll find your answer there itself. It is very easy. Okay, I come back here. Now I come to the loop constructs. We have got 3 different loops in Java: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. We'll go through them one by one. So first loop is, okay, for loop, while loop, and do while loop. You'll see right now. Fida says, what is the difference between static method and static variable? Both are static. There is only one copy. That is the similarity. And difference is quite simple. That is, one is variable, the other is method. Okay? A variable stores a value. A method has got many instructions. That is, it has got a functionality within it. Fida says, lol, great. Absolutely. Now we come to for loop now. Yes, Rajiv, there are left shifts and right shift operators as well. If you want, I will implement the examples. But there are things that has to be left on you guys as well. I hope you understand. Unless you do something on your own, how will you learn new things? Okay, you should have the eagerness, go back. I'll see some things that teacher did not, or the instructor. Don't call me teacher, I'm not that old. Okay. Now I come to for loop. For loop allows code to be repeatedly executed. Okay, they are typically used when the number of iterations are known. Just remember this when you are clear that these are the number of times when this code has to be executed. Then in that case, definitely go for a for loop. Okay. Working is it initializes the expression. The initialization expression initializes the loop. It is executed once as the loop begins. Okay. When the termination expression evaluates to false, the loop terminates. The increment expression is invoked after each iteration through the loop. If you want to see the diagram, right here it is. This is the initialization expression. Middle one is the termination expression, and this is the increment expression. Now see the working. First of all, your variable is initialized right here. It only executes once. We move on. After that, the condition is checked. If the condition is true, it goes inside and executes the statements. After executing the statements, it again comes back and increments the value of y. Okay. After incrementing, again checks the condition. If it is true, moves inside and executes the statements once again. This cycle keeps on revolving till the condition is false. In this particular example, till the value of I is equals to 5. As soon as I is equals to 5, it will get you out of the loop because 5 is not less than 5. Okay. So I hope you are clear with the working. If you want to see the flow diagram, that means, Fida says, that means I gets incremented after statement 2 is executed. Absolutely, for the first time. That means, I'll show you once again. It is like this. If we directly increment it, the for loop will run only one time less. Okay. That is why it first checks, then executes, and then again increments after that. Okay. So I hope it is clear now. Now flow diagram, initialize the variable. Check the condition. If it is true, execute the statements. Now it will keep on doing this. Now one time and increment the value as well. This cycle will keep on revolving. Now one time what happened? The condition is false. After that, it gets out of the loop. It is the end of the loop. I hope you are quite clear with the flow diagram as well. It is quite simple to understand. So we'll see the example of a for loop now. We'll implement it. Commenting it. A lot of things on the plate. So we have got for. Fida says nice flow chart. Okay. Thank you. S equals to 0. S less than 5. S plus plus. I open up the braces now. Now within that I'll place system.out.println and I'm implementing the same example. Let's print the value of S itself. Now tell me guys, this loop will repeatedly run. What will be the result if I execute this code? Please write down on the chat window. Nan says 0 till 4. Shilpa says 0 to 4. Karthik says 4. Amrish says 0 to 4. Anurag says 0 to 4. Absolutely correct. It will print 0 to 4. As you can see, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Now what if? Few questions, right? What if I remove this from here and place it outside? Will it give me an error? If I place it outside, will this give me an error? Vivanshu says no. Karthik says no, sir. Rajiv says no. Okay, absolutely correct. I'll place it outside V. So this is one more syntax. I can put this increment part after this within the scopes. This is also one implementation. Now tell me, if I just delete this token, because I do not have an initialization expression right here, if I remove this semicolon, will it give me an error? What do you think? Absolutely correct. Everyone says yes. It will give me an error because this is the syntax of for loop and that has to be followed. These semicolons has to be present. Okay. Very good then. That means you are quite clear with a for loop. So we'll get on with the while loop now. So Alt tab and let's search for the presentation. I'm sorry, where is the presentation? Okay. Now we come to the while loop. The while statement continually executes a block of statements while a particular condition is true. Okay, generally while loop is used when you have a condition like infinite and you are not sure of the number of iterations. If you are not sure about that, go for a while loop. Okay. Now working is the while statement evaluates the expression. If the expression evaluates to true, the while statement executes the statements. The while statement continues executing its block until the expression evaluates to false. Working now. Initializes the variable first of all. Checks the condition after that. If it is true, moves inside and executes the statement. After that, increments the value of I and again checks the condition. This cycle keeps on revolving till the condition is false and the value of I is equals to 5 in this particular case. So I hope you are clear with this as well. Let's see the flow diagram. Initialize the variable. Check the condition. If the condition is true, execute the statements and increment the value of I. Again come back to the condition, do the same thing till the condition turns out to be false. If it is false, it is the end of the loop. Okay? So this was the while loop for now. This was the working and the flow diagram. I hope you have understood it quite well. Let's see the diagram. Let's see on Eclipse how to implement it. So I'll write while and while loop with condition. So integer, let's define a variable for it, something like con equals to 0, initializing it. Con is less than 5, the condition. Within that, I'll print the statement like, I'll print the value system.out.println and I'll pass con. Now tell me guys, what if I run the code now? Okay, Sumit says infinite loop. Anurag says con. Ambrish says infinite because no updation has been done. When I run this code, absolutely it will give me an infinite result. As you can see, 0 is it keeps on printing. Okay, can you see it? Okay, because the reason is that, I'll just stop it. The reason was that because I have not incremented the value of con, and since I have not done it, the value of con is always 0 and the condition always evaluates to be true, so it will keep on executing. Now the mistake, that is con plus plus, that's good. That means you're paying attention right here guys. Very good. So I run this code again. This time I receive the correct result, that is 0 to 4. So all of you are clear with the while loop. Then I'll move on to the do while. Everyone please write down on the chat window. I need a lot of yeses. Okay, this is the charge that I charge you right now to move on to the next topic. Okay, I receive all the yeses. That's very good. I come to the do while loop. A do while loop allows the code to be executed at least once. That means for once it will be executed. Based on the given Boolean condition, it will proceed further. The working is, first the code within the block is executed and then the condition is evaluated. If the condition is true, the code within the block is executed again. This repeats until the condition becomes false. Let's see the working now. Yes, Sumit, let us finish this one and then we'll come to that. Okay? I hope it is fine. First initialize the variable, then execute the statements. Increment the value and check the condition. If the condition is true after that, it will go again inside and execute the statement, increment, and keep on doing the same thing till the condition evaluates to be false. Okay, the flow diagram now. Initializing the variable, executing the statements and incrementing the counter. After that, checking the condition. If the condition is true, it again comes back and executes the statements. This cycle will keep on revolving till the condition turns out to be false and it is the end of the loop. So the flow diagrams are quite similar, but there are differences as well. Okay. So let's see how to implement a do while. Control 7 and I'll write do while. Let's use the same con variable itself. Con less than 5. I'll place the same condition statements, saving the file. Now if I run this code, what is the result? Nayan says 0 to 5. Do you think Nayan is correct, everyone? Nayan says it will print 0 to 5. Do you think is correct? Amrish says 0 to 4. Anurag says no, is not correct. Vivanshu says no, it will be 0 to 4. And yes, you guys are right, is not correct. Nayan, it will be from 0 to 4 right here. Okay, as soon as it is equals to 5, condition is false, it won't go back and execute the statements again, right? Now let's try to play with it. Control 7, first I come to the for loop. Control 7 once again, copy this, let's place it inside in its position. Now if I make s equals to 10, what will be the result now? If I run this loop, come on guys, be quick. A very simple answer. Amrish says no iteration. Amrish says no iteration. What about the others? Absolutely, there won't be any iteration. It won't print anything. I'm pressing Control F11, no result. Absolutely correct. Now I come to the while one. Oh, Control 7. Again, sorry. Control 7, and this time I'll make con equals to 10. What if now? What is the result if I run this code? Quick. These are simple answers. Very simple. No result. Absolutely correct. Control F11, no result. Okay, let's get over it then. We come to the final one, that is do while. I'll make say con is 10, same change. What is the result now? Sumit says, but for do while there will be 0. Rama says, Amrish says 10, Rama says 0, Rajiv says 1, Vivanshu says 10, Anurag says no result, Karthik, Rajiv, Rama says 10. Absolutely correct. It will give me a result 10, Control F11, because the do while loop at least runs for one time. Okay, the do while loop at least runs for once even though your condition is false. Okay, so this was the difference that I wanted to show you. It was written in the presentation, but guys, many of you are not clear with that. Because statements don't clear the doubts, practical example will clear your doubts. Okay, so I hope you are clear, everyone. Manish, are you clear? You wrote 11 right here. Okay, because it becomes con, it gets executed, it gets incremented, and then condition is checked. And Manish, your result 11 will come when you increment it first. So if I run this code now, this time it will be 11. I hope everyone is clear now. So commenting this part once again, Control 7, saving the file. Okay, I want to ask one more question from you. Let's put it back there where it was. Okay. Now, if I place a semicolon here, and in this I print something like what happened. Okay, so I'm asking what happened now. What happens now? Sorry. What do you think? A trick question, this one. I placed a semicolon right here. Amrish says error. Karthik says what happened will be printed. Rajiv says nothing. Sumit says no result. Print what happened. Absolutely, it will only print what happened. Why? Because you end the for loop right here itself. Even though you remove it, these blocks are present like they are the independent blocks. Okay, they are not related with the for loop. So you can also write it like this. That is why it is only printing what happened. I hope it is clear. Sometimes you find questions like this. Okay. Very good then. So, okay, I have, oh, oops, that was the final topic. So there was a request from Sumit, I guess. He wants me to go through, he wants me to show, that is the for each loop, sorry, the for each loop. Okay. So let's go for each loop right here. Now for perfect example for that would be something like, I have to create an array. Okay, array will be dealt. Will we get the recorded version? Yes, Sumit, you'll receive the recorded session of this class. Now let's create an array, integer, or let's be integer itself, a string array. Now we'll be discussing array. Right now no questions about array, right? The next class will be covering array in detail. Right now I'm showing you the for each loop because he insisted, so that is why. Okay, so I have this array. I'll put few elements into it manually like this. I'll make it much smaller. I'll make it 3 elements. Now this array can hold string values. The name of the array is ARR and it can store 3 string values. Okay, so I can use the index. Index in Java starts from 0. So first 0, at 0 position I want like Vineet on my name. So Vineet, I put a semicolon, let's make it 4. I'll just copy this entire statement, Control C, 1, 2, 3, F. Now, second one, at second position, Vineet gives 1, 2, 3. Now since there are 4, then index will go from 0 to 3. Vineet gives, okay, let's make it helps. Okay, helps Sumit. Okay, Vineet helps Sumit in Java class. Okay, so we have our array. Now we'll print. Now using for each loop, you do not have to write any increment counter. That means you do not have to write any increment thing. You do not have to mention any initialization code or any condition, something like that. Simply you write the array itself. That is ARR. Okay, you pass the array itself, it will automatically access the elements. After that, I'll just print system.out.println. I do not have to use any index, and within that I'll place string, because one by one every object is coming to this variable string. And if you are getting confused, I'll make it str. Okay, now if I run this code, since it is println, it will come in next line. That is Vineet helps Sumit in Java class. I can change it to print. Run this code. Vineet helps Sumit in Java class. So I need to give few spaces as well. Now, are you clear everyone how to use a for each loop? Fida, this is not a for loop, this is a for each loop. The arguments are simple. Since my array is of string types, so I'm using string and I'm making a variable string. Variable of a string type. Okay. Now array has got string elements within it, like one element, second, third, and then the fourth. So one by one, first array will store string in it. Okay. It will print beneath. I can show you one by one, but right now you won't be able to understand. We'll be discussing for each in the next one. Ambrish says, but it only works on arrays, but it is simple to use. Okay. Yes, it does. On array list also you can use it. str here is being used as a pointer. It is used as a variable, Sumit. Ambrish, do you have a question? Now, Fida, are you clear? We are using str as a variable which is storing its element one by one and printing it outside. That is why when I use println, it comes in first iteration, it prints beneath, second iteration helps, third iteration Sumit, and in fourth iteration it is in Java class. That is why you find it in different lines. Won't the str variable get overwritten? Actually it is. Variables are like this. If you put another value after that, it will overwrite the previous value. Okay, Amrish says, yes sir, I mean, can it only work on arrays? Yes, on array list, arrays, these are the structures where it is used, the for each loop. Okay. So Vida, are you clear now? Please let me know. Amrish says okay. What about the rest of you? Is everyone clear with it? Vivanshu says yes. Anurag says okay. Shilpa says yep. Nayan says yes. Sumit says yes, 100%. Karthik says clear sir. Is there any difference between for each and for loop? The syntax. When you see this for loop, it is right here. You have to write so many things. You have to see the initialization. You have to see the size till where the loop has to run and increment as well. But in a for loop, for each loop, you do not have to give anything. You simply create a variable and you pass your array. Okay. You can put elements into the array list or you can print the array. If I want to print this array using the for loop, I can do that. But what I have to mention? I have to mention many things. So write for like integer I equals to 0. Sorry. Integer I equals to 0. I less than 5 since, sorry, I less 4 because the elements are 4. And I plus plus. After that, now I have to use the index of the array. Okay, that is system.out.println ARR. Within that I have to pass I. Now see what is the difference. This is quite simple to use. In this you have to give 3 different things. You have to pass this index as well. Can we select specific index in for each loop like in for loop? Specific index. Okay, you have to make another counter. Okay, you have to use a variable. You can do that, but you have to create another logic. Instead of doing that, you can simply use a for loop. Okay, why to complicate things? For each is to simplify things, not to complicate it. If you need the index, go for loop. Why will you come for each loop? Are you getting my point, Sumit? Okay, it is like where a needle works, you do not use a sword. Are you getting my point? Similarly, everything is for a particular thing. Sumit says right, absolutely. So Fida, let me know if you are clear with it. Because I still seen that you are not clear with the explanation of this for each loop. Please let me know. Does that mean we can't use referencing for each for loop? No. For each loop you won't be using referencing. I can show you can use it. Like you have to maintain a variable, like you have to initialize a variable, something like count equals to 0. I missed the data type, you can place it. Okay, I'm sure you can understand. I'll just mention it. Okay, we have count on the top. That is why it is not giving error. Count, within that, place your count plus plus, keep incremented it. Now, if you want a particular, you have to place a if condition within that. Are you getting my point? If else, when the count is equals to that, then print it, or else don't. So let's say if you want that when count, sorry, is equals to, I want only the first one, so count is equals to 1. This increment has to be done at the end. I can place it in else as well, or instead of not complicating it, I'll remove this. Okay, and this is equivalence. Now it will only print at one position, right? I have to remove the above one. So only helps come, because at one position help is present. Sumit says only print we need. I have printed only help. Are you clear, Sumit? And Fida, are you clear? So this is the logic. Why to make so much hassle? Why don't you use a for loop simply? Fida says yes. What about Sumit? Are you clear? Okay, this was the final topic that we had for today. Let's see. To end this class, do I have a question? Okay, one question that we dealt. All of you answer this. Which one of the following statement implements the XOR operator? Better to use for loop if referencing is needed. Exactly, Fida. Nayan says it was refreshing. Refresher, looking forward for other sessions. Do you have any course for J2EE? Right now, we are not dealing with J2EE, but we have got an Android course. Okay? So if you're looking forward for that, absolutely you can go ahead with Android. Okay? And absolutely for the next classes will always be there, and next classes will be much more interesting than this. Okay, I'll try to make it. So guys, answer it. Only 33% have voted. What about the rest of you? Remember what was there in the diagram, the expression. When will be the next class, Sir Karthik says? The next class, most probably it will be tomorrow. The classes will be held every Saturday and Sunday, okay? So just check your email IDs for that, and I'll show you a place where you can check it. Just get over with this question and then I'll show it. Okay, we have the results. 70% says the first answer is correct, 10% says the third is correct, and 20% says the fourth one is correct. And the correct answer is, that is, I'll go with the audience, the first one. The first one is the right answer. That will implement the XOR operator using the for, not, and, sorry, conditional and, not, and conditional or operator. Okay? Okay then, all of you, I'll show you a few things. First of all, you already know this LMS, how to come here. I'll show you once again. Go to edureka.in, log in with your accounts, the registered account with which you have registered yourself. Go to My Courses. After logging in, go to My Courses, select Comprehensive Java Course, and you'll come to this page. You've got your assignments, everything over here. You have to attend them. Okay, your installation guide is here, and you have a class as well. Now, we have got a Java community for all of you. Okay, so I request each and every one of you to join yourself, to send a request on Java community. We'll add you. So that it is actually, we have created it as a platform where we'll have discussions on Java, everything. You'll get all your details on your email ID as well as on your Facebook community. Okay, because most of the time I'm sure you spend your time on Facebook as well, a lot of time. So you can go to the community very easily. That is why we have that for you. That way you can also interact with each other. Okay. Okay, Shilpa says tomorrow I'm going out. Never mind, Shilpa. I'll post the recording of the class on the community, as well as you'll receive the recording on your email ID. Yes, Shilpa, I'll mail it. Now, the community, the name of the community is Edureka Java Community right here. So if you want to search it, write open with your Facebook, write Edureka Java community right here. Okay, this is the name. So you just have to send a request and I'll add all of you. This will be the platform. If you see right here, these are all our students. Okay, they post questions, we also comment on that, they interact with each other. This way they are clearing their concepts. They actually take benefit with each other. They have got a platform right in front of you. So I hope everyone will send a request. Okay, like these are the class videos that I'm posting here. You'll also get these class videos on this. Assignments, they are submitting assignments on community. I give assignments on community. Okay, questions like this was posted by a student. Even I posted many questions right here. I posted this question on array list. Okay, you can see the threads, the comments, everyone discuss on that. Okay, so do you feel, is this a good thing, the Facebook community? Everyone? Shilpa says cool. What about the rest? Nayan says yeah. Karthik says yeah. Amrish says yes. Anurag says yes. Vivanshu says yes. Sumit says I send you a friend request. Superb. Ram says okay, send me a request, that's fine, I'll add you, but send the request on community. Don't forget, just search for the community, write Edureka Java community and you'll find it. Just join the group. Okay, it is a group, join the group. Sumit says I joined the group yesterday. Okay, yes, better usage of social networking platform. Fida says exactly correct. So, okay, very good then. So should I expect each and every one of you to send a request by today and I'll add you? Should I expect a request? Okay, Vivanshu says yes. Amrish says yes, of course. Anurag says for sure. What about the rest of you? Are interested? Karthik says send a link to download ADT. Sorry, not this. It is developers.android.com. Arun Kumar says yes. Nayan says yes. Manish says yes. Still many people are left. Don't you want to join the community? After that, go to developer, tools, download, and this is the ADT bundle. I'll just copy and paste on your chat windows. All of you just check your chat windows. You'll get the ADT if you want to download. Sumit says, sir, can I leave for the day? Yes, we'll be ending the class right away now. Okay. So in the recording as well, you'll receive the link for the community. Rajiv says, don't mind with my question. Can you give me a real world usage of bitwise operators? Rama says, I use Eclipse Juno. Okay, that's good. Real world application. Okay. I'll have to think over it. Rajiv, I'll post it on community. Send me a request on community. I'll add you and I'll post the real world usage of bitwise operators. And I think basically it works in the background. Okay. That means you run a program, you add two things, and in the background it is used in the instructions. Okay. The lower level programming, I think. So I'll give you the solution for that. I'll give the answer. So let's get back. Okay, right after this class, all of you will receive a survey to fill in. Give your comments, give your suggestions so that I can improve myself and provide you a better class in the future. Okay, so don't forget to fill in the survey. You can give me good comments, you can give me bad comments, everything over there, even the suggestions. Karthik says, how many classes it take to complete this course, Karthik? You'll get all this information on the community itself. Okay, right now I'm not in the condition to give you the complete details. Okay. Okay, Karthik. So guys, I'll see the survey, fill in the survey, give the comment, suggestion. You can say that the instructor is not good. You can say he was very good, or somewhat he was lazy, everything. You can write anything you feel. But I need you to write the survey. Okay. So it was a great class with all of you. It was wonderful. I didn't feel that you were it was the first time for you to take an internet online class. Okay. So I had a great time, and I expect that you also had a great time in today's class. So hope to see you in the next class. I think you'll be coming to the next class, right? Or you'll run away. Okay, Rama says 9 out of 10. Rani says yes, it is really good. Fida says you were very nice, undoubtedly. Okay. Karthik says it helpful to me a lot. Nan says sure. Shilpa says yep, see you soon. Karthik says yeah. Anurag says yes. Manish says how to download Android SDK. Manish, I've given you the link. It contains the SDK as well as the Eclipse, everything. Shilpa says 10 out of 10. Anirudh says welcome, thank you. Amrish says it was superb. Rajiv says thanks a lot. Vivanshu 9 out of 10. It is very awesome experience, thank you. And coming tomorrow. Amrish says absolutely then. You actually boosted my morale. Very good then. Fill in the survey. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you. And check your email IDs for the next class as well as the community. Okay then. Thank you. Have a nice day. And just go through the assignment. Attempt the assignments on the LMS that are present. Okay.